Happy are those whose help is the God of Jacob, whose hope is in the Lord their God, who made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, who keeps faith forever, who executes justice for the oppressed, who gives food to the hungry. The Lord sets the prisoners free. The Lord opens the eyes of the blind. The Lord lifts up those who are bowed down. The Lord loves the righteous. The Lord watches over the strangers. He upholds the orphan and the widow, but the way of the wicked he brings to ruin.
In the beginning of 2015, we realized there was a new flow of refugees, of Syrian refugees, who came towards the northern borders of Greece, close to us.
When the refugees started coming, we could not stay away from running and helping them. We felt that this was our duty to our Lord, who called us to welcome the stranger and the naked person and the persons who suffer. So it's the calling from our Lord and Savior to do that, and that's all we did as Christians.
Our fathers had been Greek refugees who came from Asia Minor, from Pontus. At that time they were hosted in Syria because at that time Syria opened its doors to receive our ancestors, and they have been hosted there for 8 months or 1.5 years. And after this period of time, they took the ship from Beirut and they came to Greece. They came here and founded this community.
When I saw the thousands of refugees in the fields, I thought that I needed to do something about them. We decided to help distributing food, but soon we realized that they had a very big need for communication because they couldn't use their phones for international calls.
Refugees who came to Greece often faced persecution and trauma along the way in their countries, in the transit countries, and on the very difficult journeys.
After 1923, Greece had received many waves of Greek refugees, but it was the first time that Greece received a huge number of refugees who came from another country and were of another religion. So if we wanted to take these people and bring them here, we had to prepare the local society, and this was a social experiment. We had to become a link between the refugees and the local society.
2 years ago, when I came to Idomeni, I saw the tragedy and the extreme conditions that the refugees have been in for a long time, and it was a pitiful situation. And I felt touched by the love of Christ, that as a church, as a community, that we should be doing something very practical. So we decided to bring the first refugees to our homes.
At that time in Idomeni, there was no organization. There was nobody apart from the fields, the refugees, and us. We could provide only blankets and basic food items for these people.
I remember one case when I was leaving during the night and I was going back to my home. Walking through the tents of the people here, I listened to them coughing all the time. It was horrible to realize that so many people were ill and they were standing inside the tents. It was very difficult for me to know that I'm going to a safe place, but they would stay here in the tents.
And I felt a shock because I saw that people who were just like me had become nobody, without name, without identity, in the mercy of everybody.
The Greek Evangelical Church of Katerini was for the first time in Idomeni when people lived under squalid conditions in tents. After the closure of the borders, we faced a new challenge. We had to find shelter for those people in order to alleviate the hardship of their living conditions.
The parish of Milotopos was involved in helping the refugees at Idomeni all the time that the refugees were stranded there, by going weekly with a lot of food, medicine, even wood for them to burn during the cold nights and rainy nights.
Our church, before of the closing of Idomeni, was already crossing to the next step, and that was to prepare accommodation spaces, especially for the vulnerable people.
The Evangelical Church of Greece has a long-standing involvement with the refugee ministry. Since the early 1990s, the Greek Evangelical Church started working with refugees. Today, we have an extended network of refugee ministry centers in different cities in Greece. These centers are through our local churches in the towns of Seres, Thessaloniki, Katerini, Volos, Athens, and Neos Milotopos in Yanitsa.
Back in 2015, where all the refugee crisis started, it was very interesting that when thousands of people, they were coming just at the very, very end of this neighborhood, back in spring of 2015 and in summer of 2015, the only people, literally, from government, NGOs, that they were taking care of these refugees, it was just the anarchists. 2008, it was a very important period of time for Athens, Greece, and somehow the vision of this church in this area was born out of the call of the city to us. In 2008, there was a burst of raids into the streets of Athens after an incident where a 15-year-old kid was shot by policemen here in this neighborhood, Exarchia. In order to understand Exarchia, it is thought right now as the capital of anarchism right now in Europe, and somehow it is functioning as a ghetto. So for 3 days, there was just street fights and fire, all over the place in Athens. And somehow the vision for us is, how do I respond back to these raids and these needs of the city?
When we first came here and planted this church in Exarchia, this neighborhood, our desire was for it to be a church that simply served the people around us, the people of this neighborhood, regardless of their background. And we've seen from the beginning to this day that in our church services even, there are lots of people who are not believers in Jesus, and they are here and they feel very comfortable. And this is something that has continued with the work that we've been doing with refugees, that as our church in this neighborhood, we wanted to serve the people around us, and from 2015 onwards, that included the refugees. And people were sending refugees our way who are from a Christian background, but at the same time, we had refugees staying in the church building who we found on the streets who were not from a Christian background, and they actually were very much part of our community. And really, as people were recognizing the work that the church was doing, they were saying, we need to come and partner with this work. And so we were able to take the next step and to do things that are more organized. But we realized that for us to continue doing this work, what's really important is for us to have partners, maybe slightly longer term partners, who are able to come alongside us as a small church and make sure that these people, these refugees who have now become our friends, are able to be integrated and to get up on their feet. And we feel that the work of the church is crucial in that, because for us, embracing refugees is not just something the church does, it's what the church is.
I first came to Greece in 2011, where I did my studies, where I went out on the streets trying to find out what is the situation for unaccompanied minors. And I found that there were a huge need among them. They had no place to stay, no place to sleep. They were living alone in the parks of Athens. And I felt a huge burden on my heart to see if there could be done something. Coming from the Evangelical Church in Denmark, I really wanted to see if we could do something through the local church here in Athens. So I met Alex and Tim and the Exarchia Church and felt that the two visions were very the same. The goal of Pharos is really to help the refugee children and their families from a very unprotected environment to help. But not only to help, but also to see them strive with their full potential. We want to see that they can find their worth and gain hope for their future.
In 2011, then we came here on the ground, and for a year and a half, almost 2 years, the only thing that we were doing was just learning from the neighbors, learning about this neighborhood, what it stands for, what are the difficulties, what are the sensitive things. And it was the quest for us, and the vision was, how do I establish my presence in this area in a way that doesn't stand as a opposition, in opposition to this neighborhood and as a strange thing to this neighborhood, but how do I live, how do I make my presence into this neighborhood in order to bless everything that goes on in this neighborhood and reaching out to people. Of course, in Exarchia, you understand, in such a drastic neighborhood, it was obvious that at the end it was not only us that we had to give something to them, but there were so many things that they were shaping up the things that we were seeing in our own worldview and the things that we had in our minds. One of these aspects, it was the refugee. And how do you look at it? How do you respond to it? For us, of course, this vision was growing up as already earlier than the refugee crisis, where in order to understand this refugee crisis that we're living right now, it is thought as the biggest thing that has happened, in a worldwide, effect in this world after the Second World War, in order to understand what we are facing right now. But it was very important that somehow God was preparing our way in our church over here 2 years prior than the refugee crisis, where we established a small NGO named Pharos.
I was not a believer when I first started going to Evangelical Church, but through that I discovered Pharos and the mission here. At the Pharos Family Center, we have a variety of different services. We help women and children with legal information, helping to put their kids in school as well. We have a mother-baby corner specialist who's a doula by trade and helps with counseling, breastfeeding, nutrition. We have also a social worker that does both group sessions and one-on-one sessions. In addition, we have a child-friendly space where we do informal education and play-based learning. And in addition to that, we also have showers. We have a chance for women to exercise in a women-friendly space. We have knitting crochet classes, which we hope would lead to integration and possibly jobs and career potential. And we also have our legal information sessions, and we have our Greek, English, and Farsi classes, which is step 1 in terms of integration. We have psychological support group sessions in which we help women who would like to speak about what problems they face. And we also have legal advice, which we offer every single day. And we help women with their paperwork, asylum services, any type of advice they may need legally, and to help their kids go into school.
Hello, my name is Petros Kermidas, and you find ourselves here today at the Shelter and Drop-In Center of Pharos. We are a drop-in center for boys ages from 11 to 16. We offer meals, we offer lessons, we offer services of social kind, psychological or social work for these children. We also offer support, psychological or physical, is that clothes or any needs these boys might need.
Cultural integration is very important to us, so we went to the Acropolis Museum, and through that the refugee women and children were able to see connections within the Arabic and Persian cultures within the ancient Greek culture. So they're able to see a connection within that. They're able to understand the history of Greece, and then through that we were able to also show them the current Greek culture of eating a souvlaki together and to be able to talk about what they had learned. So they really got a chance to participate and see a good part of cultural integration within Greece.
We are at the Exarchia Church in Athens. This is the courtyard of the building. This is the space that both the church and the people we host at Integration House use. Integration House is part of the Exarchia Church vision. It began when the church started hosting families here for longer term to aid in their transition between living outside a space and on to their new lives in Greece. From that sprang the new need of providing for them not only housing, but a further participation and inclusion in the Greek community.
My name is Avras. We are coming from Iraq, Kurds from Iraq. I have two daughters, Evelyn and Juliana, and she's my wife. She's name is Mahabat. We came from Turkey to Greece, to Saloniki, 19th of September, from Saloniki to Athens directly. And we had very bad situation when we came first to Greece, but now we have too much better. When I meet Evangelical Church, they brought us here and they offer a place for us and for my family. We feel very safe here and they make everything for us.
We plan activities for the families. We host families at Integration House for a period of 3 months initially, with the possibility of extending the stay if needed. And we offer a series of activities such as Greek lessons, English, IT, and other appointments with a social worker to cover needs they might have for the further development of their new lives in Greece. We want to provide the families with activities that have to do with their inclusion in the Greek community, and we welcome participation of the families in daily activities of the church and the community outside it as well, which we find is very important too.
This is the Greek Evangelical Church in Glyfada, in the southern part of Athens, which is also an integration center for refugees, where we help them through IT classes, English classes, and Greek classes. So when the refugee crisis exploded back in 2015 here in Athens, the question for our church was, how do we help? How do we help those people that are in need? And at the beginning, the answer was to give them what the basic necessities, whether it was food or clothes. But as the time progressed, and now we are in 2018, we have realized that the needs have changed and the people are here to stay for the long run. So how do we help them? What do we do to help them in practical ways? And the answer was, help them in the integration process, help them integrate into the Greek culture, help them participate into the Greek culture.
The At Home project is a ministry of the Glyfada church plant that tries to help refugees integrate in the city of Athens. The Cultural Night project is a project that helps Syrian, Iranian refugees and refugees from other nationalities meet with Greeks, Americans and teams from Europe and share with us their culture through music and food. Then we have the business project where we help refugees create their CVs here in Athens, and we have lectures, seminars and workshops that help them understand the Greek reality and the Greek market. The newest project we have in the at-home project is called R2R, and it stands for Refugee to Refugee, and it's a way that refugees that are now in a good situation can help other refugees through cooking and making tea and giving them to refugees in squads. The housing project isn't just a hotel, it's an integration program that helps refugees integrate in the city of Athens. That for us means that in the next 10 months they can be able to sustain themselves, have a steady job, and be able to pay for rent. The way we're trying to achieve that is by assigning a mentor to each family. The mentor meets twice every week with the family and evaluates their progress educationally and tries to help them connect with different people, places, and events or organizations in the city of Athens. The goal of this project is for the refugee families to be able to sustain themselves, and that means to be able to rent a house and have a steady job in the next 10 months. Right now, the housing project shelters 3 families, Tirdat and Nadia, Semirani, Lereza, and Sandia, and Asiya and Mohammed with their 2 children. The housing program is an integration project that helps refugee families find a place to stay and at the same time integrate in the city of Athens. The whole program lasts 10 months, and through these months we provide to the refugee families facilities and rooms to stay, financial help, and mentoring. Every family has a mentor who meets with them twice every week. He helps them by evaluating their educational progress with Greek, English, music, computer classes that we provide, and at the same time he tries to connect them with different opportunities, people, projects, organizations in the city of Athens.
We're standing in front of the building that somehow expresses the dream scenario of what we're looking into as we want to be a church that welcomes refugees, the people that they are in need. And we hope that the church will always be, a hub, for all the need people, the people that they are weak, and, the sojourners of this world. This is a building that somehow embodies really the vision that we have. It is a building that both will host refugee families and Greek families living together in an attempt of helping them to integrate within the society, but also like learning from them and them learning from us. We want to host over here opportunities for them in order to be able to accommodate easier into the Greek culture, also having chances for community and social events, training, vocational training, and also learning languages. For us, of course, this could never be happened, without the help of organizations, especially for Germany, that an organization and churches that they really help for this dream to become a reality. In the same building, also, the church services will be held, and all the church activities will be in the same building. So you really see, this is the vision that we have, is to combine whatever the church is with the things that are happening into people that they are in need. Of course, for us, it's not just this year. It's easy to find funds and to find ideas when something is really, on the news and it's something that everybody gets excited. But what do we do from now on? We do want to find partners that they will see this as a chance to build up for the future, for new needs that they're gonna showing up, not just, the refugees that are coming from this recent war, but who knows, what expect the cities, and what a great chance for us to partner already with people that they will be able to fund it, and have it sustainable in this neighborhood. So we do welcome you, and we do ask you, to join us into this effort.
The Greek Evangelical Church is ready to provide services for integration and preparation for more refugees as the new challenges may arise in the years ahead.
My name is Meletis Meletiadis. I am the moderator of the Evangelical Church of Greece and pastor of the church in Volos, which is located in central Greece. I want to start with a personal story. In 1923, due to the high level of nationalism of the time, Greeks who lived in Asia Minor suffered the evils of nationalism. In the village of Kyrimze, which was a Greek village, they were surrounded and put into the St. George's Orthodox Church, both Protestant and Orthodox, and the church was burned down. Few survived. Those who survived made it to Greece, and they formed the village of Milotopos. The interesting thing is that the people of Milotopos are the grandchildren of those Greek Protestants that were burned in the Church of St. George in Asia Minor. 100 years later, the grandchildren of those evangelicals were serving the grandchildren of those who burned them down.
My name is Savas Anastasiou, and I am the eldest in the Evangelical Church of Neos Milotopos. It is a refugee church built by Greek refugees who came here from Syria in 1923. The church has always been standing next to our fellow men for many decades. One of the most important things the Gospel teaches us is love for our neighbor, and seeing this pan-human drama called refugee, the church could not be a spectator. From the very first moment that the refugee flows arrived in Idomeni, the church was present, relieving those who lived in the fields, offering them nutrition and the essentials. At this point, let me mention that the work of the church is voluntary. The drama of these people did not leave the people of the church uninvolved, entangling the people of the village and systemically participating all together in the actions that the church held on a weekly basis in Idomeni. After the hospitality issue, our big challenge was the integration of these people from these societies. In order to achieve the inclusion of these people in society, we immediately took action. First of all, they start taking courses in English and Greek languages and learn some artwork. Thus, on a systemic basis, the church teaches English and Greek to children and adults, as well as computers, especially to those who have an asylum or residence permit in Greece. Learning these languages immediately gave them the chance to go out to the society and be able to work and help themselves. Because for 5 years these people have remained inactive through this whole issue of war.
At the beginning, we felt it was important that children should have the opportunity to go to school. We think that it is inconceivable that a school-age child is spending all day at home. This is the reason why we had a contact with the school head, so that these children can start their courses as soon as possible.
At the beginning of the school year, in September of 2017, some Syrian children came for the first time in our elementary school. They were asking to be enrolled in our classes as they were living in our village. My answer was immediately positive. The next day, I made a discussion with the teachers and the board, and all of them agreed, although it was a great challenge for us. We talked to our school children, and they were happy with their new classmates. After discussing with the parents and the responsible lady for these children, we put them in some classes. We welcomed them with great joy. This, within a week, worked positively, because especially the younger ones were immediately adapted. A social project was to offer to these people a land to cultivate vegetables and seedlings. I would like to state at this point a personal witness. These people were offering for free their collected crops to the villagers. All this effort derives from God's love for man, because He first loved us, and so we too share this love with our neighbors.
Αυτός πρώτος μας αγάπησε και έτσι και εμείς αυτή την αγάπη τη μοιραζόμαστε με τον πλησίον μας.
We are in a place where one of the 3 apartments that we are currently preparing for the refugees is located. What I am responsible for in this area are electrical installations and plasterboard ceilings. We are trying to prepare this area so that we will soon accommodate at least 3 other families who are in need and are refugees here in Greece. One of the things that we have been worried about at first was to find a place for homeless people to stay, even for temporarily. At the same time, we have to think about how these people would fit in our own local society. This was done step by step, first by the people of the church who are familiar with the local community, and then the local community, through of the church, also get in touch with the refugees. This brought them in contact with each other. They were slowly assimilated into this local society.
The key for their participation in society and for their daily communication was the knowledge in foreign languages. So we keep on providing them lessons in Greek as well as in English. Greek, mainly for people who will get the permission to stay here in Greece, and English because it's a language that is used nowadays by everyone. We felt that it was very important that these people get educated in order to consider themselves useful and not feel intrusive by living inside of 4 walls with just 1 tablet at hand. Through of their achievements, in addition with their language learning improvement, they have been very happy and have felt that they have another asset in their lives. For the preparation of the lessons, we carefully considered the culture of this population, their nationality and the different educational background. To get these people familiar with our society, we had to get them out of their homes and make them feel like residents of this village. They were slowly taking steps to get to know the society in which they live and feel free, to achieve what they did with us on their own. Occasionally, we have organized actions for our refugees. For example, we have organized handicraft afternoons, such as knitting. We have held cooking courses, but also we have organized meals for them, where we, the church people, and they have eaten together and exchanged beautiful conversations and experiences.
Teaching Greek language, it was a challenge not only for me, but to all of this society, because we have managed to make the refugees members in this Greek society. Our challenge is not only the different age between the refugees, but the different education level. So I tried to discover a new method of education. I believe that this challenge was achieved and has perfect results, not only to the refugees, but to all of this society. They achieved to be members of this society, and the key of this achievement is the education. The education has a prominent role because it is the motivation for these people to be members and to activate in this Greek village.
My field of responsibility was the food sector. The necessity was revealed as we saw that these people were coming almost naked, almost only with their suitcases. So, witnessing their need, we decided to act by offering care supplies and much more food. In 2.5 years that refugees are in our country, and especially in our village, we did not stop to offer them what they need, especially on food and cleaning supplies and anything else we can offer in order to alleviate their pain and their problem, for as long as they live among us.
My main job is to deal with the finances of the church. What we do, we get donations from different parts of the world, the US, Canada, Europe, and from individuals. All the money that comes through donation is distributed according to their needs. And their needs are heating oil, especially here now in the winter, food supplies, medication, visiting doctors, and visiting public offices for administration of their papers. Sometimes we have to actually take them to the asylum offices in Thessaloniki, and we take care of these expenses. And I have to stress that all the money that comes to our church is coming through the Synod of the Evangelical Churches in Greece, and we do not keep any money for administrative fees. All the money that comes, it goes to the refugees for their needs.
By bringing people here in the homes and host them, the next step was to join the society. One of the things that we did and played a very important role in their assimilation is the court that you see on your left. As in the summer and after school, many children gather and play on the field that belongs to the church and is open for everyone. Through of the game between the fellow villagers and the refugees, any feeling of xenophobia existed was gone, and both the refugees and the locals realized that there is no difference between us. As our village, and this is to be emphasized, is a refugee village that in 1923 our grandparents came from Asia Minor as refugees while the journey was through of Syria. They stayed there for a few months being hosted by the Syrians. So now, we, as villagers, return this hospitality back to these people.
I believe that the Christian church should be in the cutting edge of welcoming and assimilating and helping these people integrate into our societies. If the church does not do it, who else is possible to do it? So we are committed to that and we want to work on that. It is our historical challenge to take the opportunity and show love to these people, and the church can do it. It's our calling from God. It's an opportunity that we are not going to have again, so that to save Europe from trouble. We believe that it's important for the church to lead in the participation of these people in assimilation in our communities. And the church is the perfect place for them to do that, so that they will have their own respect by offering them love, welcoming them into our communities, into our homes, into our dinner tables, by helping them find jobs, helping them learn the language, so that they will be able to become citizens of our communities. As we all know, participation is important for the church itself. And without participation of the members, nothing can happen in the church. So the way the church operates, we should imitate that into the communities of the refugees as we welcome them.
In Idomeni there was a camp of about 15,000 refugees with no future, without perspective. Apart from the people that we had taken home, there were only a few. As a church, we felt the need that our Lord calls us to do something more, to help these people come to our society, stand on their feet, and be integrated to our society. We felt the need for a massive hosting project. And our church managed to accomplish this goal by establishing the NGO Perichoresis.
After the closure of the borders, we faced a new challenge. We had to find shelter for those people in order to alleviate the hardship of their living conditions. So we created a business plan. We've set up a business proposal and we've sent it to European organizations.
Our main thought was to understand the refugees and migrants, their status, their nationality, culture and religion, and based on this knowledge to be able to set specific integration programs covering the needs and making them able to be ready to live in this European framework.
As Perichoresis, we have provided accommodation and services for over 1,630 refugees. Our highest number of refugees being served at the same time was 667 when we managed also 3 hotels in the area of Yanitsa. Right now we have over 500 people living on a stable basis in Katerini.
The vision of safe houses came as a need because we strongly believe that each person has the right to live in a safe shelter under a peaceful environment, especially for vulnerable people who desperately wanted to either reunite with their families or go to another country in Europe or asking for asylum in Greece.
It's very important because Katerini has passed through a vast social and a significant economic transformation, to mention that all the products, all the purchases were taken by the local community, the local market. 360,000 euros have been spent only for rentals in the area of Katerini in 2017. We have rented over 110 apartments in our city. Over 580,000 euros have been spent in furniture, utilities, fuel in order to set up the first apartments.
Within this very historical challenge, the Synod of the Evangelical Church of Greece fully understood and supported our vision for safe shelters and raised funds from various organizations to help us set these houses and fulfill the accommodation of migrants here in Katerini.
Our goal as carriers is to ensure for the proper living of the beneficiaries in these homes. In this residential complex, we host 7 families who live harmoniously and peacefully with Greek families. This is what we wanted to do, to help these people be socialized, to find their own choices, and together with Greek families to live the best of their lives in a new environment.
My name is Yannis Ifantidis and I'm the pastor of the Greek Evangelical Church of Katerini. 2 years ago, when I came to Idomeni, I saw the tragedy and the extreme conditions that the refugees have been in for a long time, and it was a pitiful situation, and I felt touched by the love of Christ that as a church, as a community, that we should be doing something very practical, so we decided to bring the first refugees to our homes. And then later on we got organized, and with the help of other people and associations from abroad, we were able to establish a community for these people to make them feel acceptable here. And later on we became bigger and bigger, and many refugees, close to 500, are being served today.
After I get this house by the help of the Evangelical Church, I feel I'm safe and I participate to this society.
We provide them the whole network of the community of our people. We want to let them stand on their feet and live like equals with us.
The social grocery store of the Greek Evangelical Church of Katerini began in 2012 and is not only addressed to refugees. It is addressed to every Greek family and to every individual person in need. As refugees coming from the islands have nothing personal and no clothing with them, the need for clothes is great. We also cover the needs for food and personal hygiene materials.
The great challenge was integrating them into the society. We didn't want to have a fishbowl with people, trying to have just a daily routine and everything paid from the funds that we had. And those refugees just stay there and take the bread in their mouth.
We provide professional, social and psychological support for these people to face the difficulties with the trauma and to help them to be independent and gain their self-esteem.
The first thing that we try as social workers is to try to understand the people that came. They carry lots of difficult things, and they have a lot of in their minds, and we try to make them trust us and to make it clear that we want to help them. Sometimes it's difficult and it takes a lot of time because usually those people change a lot of places until they finally find an accommodation to stay for a long. We want them to understand that it's very important to participate and not to be alone or isolated, because they were gonna stay here and they have to do it as more easier for them as quickly as possible.
We proceed with the integration of these people by guiding them how to find the organizations in the town, how to find the public services, local authorities, to address for the issuing of their AMCA, of their VAT number, how to have access in the pharmacies, in ICA, which is the social security system, the public general hospital of Katerini, and other services to make them independent and to have full access to the services. We try to do that through our integration project by guiding them and assisting them totally to be independent and to stand on their feet in the local society and be ready to respond in any kind of need they may need in the future.
We had to find new solutions. We try to give them perspective in order to have a certificate in English.
So this is our classroom where we have students of different cultures and nationalities.
The reason we started this school is to help these people understand that they have to become a part of this society, and to help them learn the language and help them understand the Western culture and integrate in a smoother way.
So there was a challenge having different statuses, of different religions, of different cultures, and how we can give them the same quality of education and the same quality of teaching so that they can all benefit from this experience here.
So the necessity of the Western countries is to really understand and become one with them and give them a big hug, show them love and become a part of them. So by the time you gain their trust, they come closer to you. Then it's time for you to act.
In Περιχώρησης, we provide Greek courses in a methodical and intensive way, so the beneficiaries can be integrated in our community and also in the European frame. The aim is that they can be independent on their own.
The new era is the era of integration. Europe is going to accept, probably in the near future or in the future ahead, many refugees. So we have to make a new deal with them. We have to get them into the fields. Περιχώρησης has planned to make a start with a social cooperative society, and because we want to integrate entrepreneurship into our job, into our work with the refugees. Our plan is to see them cultivate our fields.
It's a morning in Katerini, and John, the owner of the specific field, is taking us to his field. We have some plans in our minds within the framework of an integration project for our beneficiaries. We would like to develop a plant of lavender in here, and that will give them a chance to develop their professional lives. If these people will be able to plant here in such an agricultural town, that will give them the chance to stand on their feet again.
We are in Katerini, in the fields of lavender, in a Greek city where its inhabitants have come from the refugee. These are their roots, and when they came, they found the fields and cultivated them. It is a very good opportunity to create new crops so that we can all make our living. With this project, we wish to facilitate their prosperity and be able to live without the need of anyone's support. Today, we make a new start. We had a good experience with the others. It seemed a little strange to us because it was the first time we entered the field and see how it works. But in the end, we can stand on our feet and be proud for what we can achieve, without the need to look for work here and there. For sure we have to make a lot of improvement, but I think we will make it. Anyway, I believe it's a good chance. We have to start from somewhere and see where this thing is leading. In my opinion, this opportunity will be helpful and it will be a valuable start.
We need jobs, for example, for a new start in our life. Because we are out of our country, and now, in order to be able to provide to our family and start working, jobs are very important. If there will be any job opportunity to us, so that we can have a chance to do something for ourselves, it will be great. Katerini is a nice city, nice for refugees as well. People treat us well. We haven't had any problems, thanks to God. Everybody is good. If we need something, they do it for us. Everything has been good so far.
It's very interesting experience here. It's new for us because we left from the war. It's very easy work for everyone. Everyone can do it because it's you don't need to experience to do it. It's very easy. It's a very beautiful village here. It's small village and very safe, very quiet.
You can do a lot of things here, and this work, it's very easy for everyone. And I am here happy with my kids. We are happy, we are need this job because it's a good job to prepare some money for life.
One of our thoughts is to help refugees stand on their own feet in the Greek society. And there is no other way to do this apart from encouraging them and helping them find a way to create their own jobs. For example, they can provide their own food, they can create their own food that is in their culture, like Arabic pies. One idea would be to found a social enterprise together, Greeks and refugees, who could work for themselves, apart from any other organizations. And this is also a way to be integrated in the Greek society.
My name is Anas Darvis. I am a refugee from Syria and I live in the Greek city of Katerini. And the most important thing for the refugee is to find a job in order to be able to stand on his feet.
Our plan is to set up a bakery in order to have into the market Arabic breads or pies, traditional products that they used to make back home. Also, we want to engage them into manufacturing business. So this is our plan. This is the future. Everything else is a failure because the relocation and reunification program did their job for a short period of time and maybe with many inadequacies.
I have to state that as a company we feel really proud to have the opportunity to give the chance to refugees to become part of a society again by offering them an employment, a decent employment. Although we have to overcome some technical difficulties such as these people don't have driving licenses or language barriers and they are completely untrained, we have to invest on their training. We're willing to give it a shot, although it is still experimental because of the cultural differences, and see how this works.
My name is Haidar Ibrahim. My family and I come from Syria. I have a wife and 2 small daughters. I came to Greece and the Greek people welcomed me. Thank God I found work. The job is good and I had been mentally relaxed. As for the life in Greece, it is good. The Greek people are wonderful. We left Syria because of the war and because we were mentally tired. Then we came to Greece and first of all we relaxed. When I started working, we no longer had any thoughts or anything. I mean about the war or the problems in Syria. At least our family and our children had been relaxed from the war and the bombing of the aeroplanes. Due to the work, I stood again on my feet and started living on my own fatigue and efforts.
So the future is integrating those people in the Greek society, in Katerini, in order to have them as neighbors in the next 5-10 years and work like us, feel like us and work as people with a normalcy in their lives.
I was in Syria, I had my life there, I was studying. I had my own house with my family. I was living, of course, not my own. But finally, because of the war, I had lost everything and I came here as a refugee. I feel safe here because I have local people from Katerini. They are from the Evangelical Church. They are like, for me, like a family. If anything could happen to me, I could call someone of them and he will run to help me, whatever I need or which kind of help I want, I could find with them. They provide to me everything, they help me in everything I would like to ask for. I'm working here now as interpreter. It's very good for the people to have their own job. I would like to be all the people like me because the people, what they want here now, as refugees to restart their life and having their own job, to get their own money, to not keep like trying to ask for money, because what they want only is to have their own jobs, to have this beginning for their life.
I am Muhammad. I am from Syria. I crossed the sea to Greece. I left my country because of the war. I feel a very bad feeling when because I left my country. But when I arrived to Greece and when we were in the tents and in this, the situation was very difficult for us because we living many people together inside one tent. The important for the humans to have their own house, to feel the safe, the rest, to feel they are like a human, normal human. The most important thing is to integrate the society.
You know, our name is perichoresis. Perichoresis is an ancient Greek term that means I create space and I invite you to share the same space that I'm in, as an equal one with me. Maybe different, but equals in the same place.
From the beginning, we believe that even though our size is very small, we are 0.04% of the Greek population, we could have done it. And that's why we got involved. And not only by taking people into our communities, but then helping them to integrate. We believe that a lot of these people will eventually stay in Greece. And that's our goal, to help them integrate into our communities. That doesn't mean that we have to change their names and baptize them to become Christians. They can stay with their own religion, with their names. We need to respect that. But on the other hand, we need to help them at this difficult time of theirs. And there are many ways that we can do that, not only by offering clothing and food, but by helping them learning the language, by helping them in legal matters, by helping them in other difficulties that they face as strangers, new people that don't know the language and the customs of this country. And of course, by voicing their voice. They are the voiceless people, and we need to be their voice into those who make decisions in this country. Facing the numbers, one could not fathom what the needs will be. But as Lenin said, an organized minority can defeat an unorganized majority. We felt that if we were organized, despite our small numbers, we could offer the help. We have helped in this past year and a half tens of thousands of people. Many of them eventually ended up in Europe, and many are still here. So the church can do a lot, and I think the church can do much more than the governments can do. And that's our challenge, and I hope the European Church can step out and do what the governments cannot do. Welcoming the refugees is not the solution to the problem. The solution is to end the war. And I pray that you that come from Western churches pressure your governments to stop selling weapons to those countries and to the parties that are opposing each other and are warring against each other. And let's pray for peace to come in Syria, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and wherever there is war. If we do not stop the wars, we will welcome more and more refugees, and Europe has already a huge problem with them.
Then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me."